Marie Osmond has always been the picture of grace and strength. From her days as a teen singing sensation to becoming a beloved TV star, she's lived much of her life in the spotlight. But when it comes to her family, especially her children, Marie has tried to keep things private. That's why fans were shocked when rumors began swirling about one of her daughter's personal choices. People had questions. Whispers turned into headlines. And now, after years of silence, Marie has finally spoken. What she said confirms what many suspected, but didn't want to believe. Join us as we take a look at Marie Osmond's personal life and dive into the truth behind the headlines. Marie Osmond's early life. Marie Osmond was born on October 13, 1959, in Ogden, Utah. Her full name is Olive Marie Osmond. She was the 8th of 9 children and the only daughter in a house full of brothers. Her parents, Olive May and George Verl Osmond, raised a big family with strong values and strong faith. They were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Marie grew up with her brothers, Verl, Tom, Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay, Donnie, and Jimmy. 2 of her older brothers, Verl and Tom, were born deaf, which made their bond with family even more special. The other brothers formed a singing group and became popular in the 1960s, performing on The Andy Williams Show. Their fame led the family to move to Los Angeles, where opportunities were bigger. Marie was just 4 years old when she made her first appearance on that same show. While her brothers were on stage, Marie spent most of her time at home with her mother and the younger siblings. She was especially close to Donnie, and the two shared a strong childhood bond. In her book, Behind the Smile, My Journey Out of Postpartum Depression, Marie wrote, "Donnie and I were rambunctious playmates who never gave our mother a moment to rest. That energy and playfulness would later shine through in their work together. Even as a little girl, Marie was surrounded by music. She helped her brothers backstage with things like costumes and gear, and soaked up everything about the showbiz world. Looking back, she once said, 'I never knew a day of my childhood life where music wasn't being played, practiced, written, or sung. Music was in her bones, and it wouldn't take long for her to step into the spotlight herself.'" A voice that made history. Marie became a star at just 14 years old. She released a song called Paper Roses, and it quickly became a #1 hit on the country music charts. She was the youngest female singer at the time to hit #1 in country music. It was a major achievement, and it showed the world that she wasn't just Donnie's sister. She had her own voice, her own talent, and her own future in music. Marie's early music focused on country songs, and she had more hits over the years. Songs like Meet Me in Montana, There's No Stopping Your Heart, and You're Still New to Me all hit #1 between 1985 and 1986. She proved that she could stand strong on her own while still working closely with her family. Of course, most people know her best from the show Donnie and Marie. This variety show, which she co-hosted with Donnie, ran until 1979. The two siblings were a perfect team, funny, energetic, and full of chemistry. They became one of America's favorite duos. But behind the scenes, things weren't always easy. In the early 1980s, the Osmond family lost much of their fortune, and Marie had to work hard to support herself and the family. She tried acting and launched another variety show simply called Marie. Eventually, she returned to country music. In 1985, she signed with Capitol Records and released the album There's No Stopping Your Heart, which brought her back to the top of the charts. The comeback wasn't just about the music, it was about strength. Marie had faced setbacks but didn't let them stop her. Family, love, and second chances. Marie's personal life had just as many ups and downs as her career. In 1979, she was briefly engaged to Jeff Creighton, a fellow acting student, but that engagement didn't last long. They called it off just 2 months later. Around that time, she also dated famous singer Andy Gibb. Later, in 1981, she had a short romance with actor John Schneider. In 1982, Marie married for the first time. Her husband was Stephen Lyle Craig, a basketball player at Brigham Young University. A year later, their son, Stephen James Craig, was born. But their young marriage didn't last. They divorced in 1985. In her book, Marie wrote, "Steve and I had made several attempts to go back and make our very young marriage work, but it failed." She also mentioned how the tabloids and paparazzi made things even harder. She felt emotionally exhausted. A year later, in 1986, she married again. This time it was to Brian Blosil, a record producer she had met at a family party. Marie was drawn to his calm personality and sense of humor. They had 7 children together, 2 biological children named Rachel and Matthew, and 5 adopted children, Jessica, Michael, Brandon, Briana, and Abigail. They built a big and loving family. But after 21 years of marriage, Marie and Brian decided to separate in 2007. In a joint statement, they said that neither one blamed the other. They just chose to go their separate ways. After the second divorce, Marie said she didn't want to get married again, but life had other plans. Years later, her son helped arrange a quiet meeting between Marie and her first husband, Steve Craig. They started talking again. Then they started dating, but kept it private. "I didn't want anybody to get hurt, if it didn't work out. And gosh, it just worked out," Marie said. On May 4th, 2011, the two remarried in a small ceremony at the Las Vegas Mormon Temple. Marie even wore the same dress she wore in 1982 when they first got married. Just a few months later, they were guests at their son's wedding. Marie told People magazine, "The thing about a second marriage is that you realize things you thought were so important aren't. I love being with my husband. He is the sweetest man I know." What Marie Osmond teaches. Over the years, Marie Osmond has been more than just a singer and TV star. She's also been a businesswoman, an author, and a fighter for children's health. She helped found the Children's Miracle Network and has written books that opened up conversations about mental health. Her book, Behind the Smile, focused on her battle with postpartum depression, something many women face but few talk about. She also built a doll collection that became popular through QVC, appeared on Dancing with the Stars, and even co-hosted The Talk between 2019 and 2020. In her later years, she kept making music, releasing albums like Music is Medicine in 2016 and Unexpected in 2021. And through everything, fame, heartbreak, motherhood, and music, Marie Osmond has stayed strong. She's made hard choices, shared personal struggles, and shown that even the girl next door can live a life full of big surprises. But behind the spotlight and the songs is the role she's most proud of, being a mom. Because for Marie, family has always been at the heart of everything she does. A big family full of love and challenges. You see, Marie Osmond is not just a famous singer and TV star, she's also a proud mother of 8 children. Her life has been full of joy, hard work, and heartbreak. And when it comes to her kids, each one has a special story. Marie had her first son, Stephen James Craig Jr., with her first husband, Stephen Craig Sr. They married in 1982 and had Stephen Jr. the next year. But the marriage didn't last, and they divorced in 1985. Years later, they reconnected through their son and ended up remarrying in 2011. It was a sweet surprise, even for them. Marie once shared, "Stephen was getting married, and we realized we can't go to our son's wedding and not be married." So they tied the knot again, just months before their son's big day. With her second husband, Brian Blosil, Marie had 7 more children. Some were biological, and some were adopted, but she loves them all equally. In fact, she once said, "Some of my kids are adopted, and I can't remember which ones, but some of them are more like me than my biological." That simple line shows how close she feels to all her children, no matter how they came into her life. Let's now take a closer look at the stories of each of her kids, starting with the one who made her a mother. Stephen Jr., the firstborn. Stephen James Craig Jr. was born on April 20th, 1983. Marie had him when she was just 22 years old. At that time, she was coming off the huge success of Donnie and Marie and trying to build a family life outside of show business. Stephen Jr. grew up away from the spotlight, but he stayed close to his mom. In fact, it was through him that Marie and his father found their way back to each other years after their divorce. When Stephen was getting married, Marie and Stephen Sr. realized they didn't want to attend the wedding as exes. They decided to give love another chance and remarried in 2011. Now, Stephen Jr. has a family of his own. He and his wife Claire have 4 children. Marie was overjoyed when she found out she was going to be a grandmother. "I'm going to be a grandma, and I just can't wait. Isn't that fun?" So excited. Her son had surprised her with the news on his 30th birthday by saying, "You're going to be a grandma." She couldn't stop smiling. Marie often posts happy pictures of family outings with Stephen Jr. and his kids. They seem to have a close and joyful relationship that only grows with time. But her family story continues with the daughter who brought creativity and fashion into her life. Rachel, the artist who became a mom. Rachel Lauren Blosil was born on August 19, 1989. She is Marie's daughter with Brian Blosil, and she's known for her creativity. Rachel now works as a costume designer and hairstylist. Just like her mom, she found a way to express herself through art. Only hers is through clothes and style. In 2012, Rachel married Gabriel Kruger in a cozy Christmas Day wedding in Park City, Utah. A few years later, they welcomed a daughter named Rocket Jade, and later a son named Wolf. Marie couldn't have been happier when her granddaughter Rocket was born. She told people, "Little Rocket is such a gift. I can't stop looking at her. Isn't she so beautiful?" On Rachel's 34th birthday in 2023, Marie shared a loving tribute on Instagram. She wrote, "My Rachel, you are such a blessing and gift to me. You're an incredible daughter, wife, and mother." She also shared a sweet photo of the two of them together with little Rocket. Rachel's life shows how Marie's children followed different paths. Some are more public, others are private, but all carry pieces of her. Still, not every chapter in Marie's family has been joyful. One son's story is filled with pain and loss. Michael, a son remembered. Michael Brian Blosil was born on May 4, 1991, and was adopted by Marie and Brian when he was a baby. He had a gentle soul and a bright future, but behind the scenes, Michael struggled with depression and addiction. In February 2010, at just 18 years old, he died by suicide. His death left the entire family heartbroken. At the time, Marie shared a short statement. "My family and I are devastated and in deep shock by the tragic loss of our dear Michael. His passing was a private tragedy, but one that deeply affected her public life too." Michael had been to rehab in 2007. Marie had spoken openly about how proud she was of him for facing his struggles. "My son Michael is an amazing young man, shown through his courage in facing his issues," she said. And by 2009, it seemed things were looking up. He was doing well in school with a 3.9 GPA and had plans to attend the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. But as Marie later explained, grief doesn't go away. "I don't think you're ever through it," she told CBS Sunday Morning. "The ripple effect is so huge, what you leave behind." Michael's memory remains a powerful part of her life, and she still speaks of him with love and pain. Her next son, Brandon, helped bring some comfort through his kindness and love for music. Brandon, the quiet musician. Brandon Warren Blosil was born on November 24, 1996. Like Michael, he was adopted as an infant by Marie and Brian. Brandon keeps a low profile, and not much is known about his personal life. He doesn't share much on social media, and he likes his privacy. But there's one thing fans do know. He has a love for music. Brandon once played bass in a metalcore band called Navarre. It's a very different style of music from his mom's country background, but the passion for sound runs in the family. Marie doesn't often post about Brandon, but in 2020, she shared a rare birthday message that warmed fans' hearts. Happy birthday to our incredible son, Brandon. I love you so much, honey, and so proud of how hard you work and the good man you are. She wrote, "There is not a kinder soul on this planet, and I am so blessed to be your mama." Brandon's story is a quiet one, but it still speaks loudly about who he is and what he means to Marie. The journey through her children's lives continues with more surprises, more joy, and more stories to come. Briana, the daughter with a creative spark. Briana Patricia Blosil was born in 1997 and was adopted by Marie Osmond and Brian Blosil as a baby. From a young age, Briana showed signs of creativity. As she grew up, she found her passion in the beauty industry and became a makeup artist. She's even worked on her mother's projects, including The Talk and Marie's Las Vegas show with Donny Osmond. In 2018, Briana married David Schwepp. The couple now has 2 daughters, Maud Bailey Moon and Mabel Amarantha Rain. Their first child, baby Maud, faced a scary start. After her birth, she had to be taken to the NICU at a Children's Miracle Network hospital, an organization co-founded by Marie herself. When Maud was born, Marie released a heartfelt message. She said, "My daughter, Briana, gave birth to a beautiful little girl. Mom is doing well and my granddaughter is currently in a pediatric ICU. Thankfully, the prognosis looks great for our little angel." She also thanked the doctors and nurses, saying they were in exceptional hands. Marie asked fans to keep her granddaughter in their prayers during that tough time. Thankfully, baby Maud recovered well. Even through difficult moments like that, Briana has stayed strong. She continues working behind the scenes, while also raising her 2 daughters. And while Briana keeps her life private, her journey shows just how close the Osmond family really is. Matthew, a son with faith and purpose. Matthew Richard Blosil was born on July 6, 1999, in Provo, Utah. He is the biological son of Marie and Brian. From the start, Matthew was raised with strong religious values. Like his siblings, he grew up as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that faith became a big part of his life. In 2020, Marie shared that Matthew had just returned from a 2-year mission trip. He had spent those 2 years serving in different areas of Michigan. On Instagram, Marie wrote, "My son returned from his church mission Wednesday after spending 2 years serving the people in 4 areas of Michigan. It was a special moment for their whole family, and they were excited to have him back home. But just 2 days later, it was time for another goodbye." Matthew was heading off to college. Marie admitted it wasn't easy. She shared a touching letter she wrote him saying, "As much as I missed you, I loved hearing about your experiences each week." She added that he could have taken the easy road after high school, but chose instead to serve others and grow his faith. Marie went on to say, "That third day, driving you to college and listening to your stories, will always be one of those special moments between a mother and her son." She ended the note with something every parent can relate to. "Your enthusiasm makes me want to be a better person." Her words showed just how proud she is of the man Matthew is becoming. Abby, the sweet voice of the youngest. Abigail Michelle Blosil, known as Abby, is Marie Osmond's youngest child, and she was born in 2002 and was adopted as a baby. Being the youngest in a big family isn't always easy, but Abby has always stood out for her kindness and talent. In 2019, Marie opened up about her kids during an interview with People. She said, "They went through a lot of tough stuff. They're survivors." Then she added something very touching about Abby. "How many 16-year-olds tell you they love you?" That simple line showed just how close they are. Abby may also have inherited her mother's love for music. In December 2019, Marie shared a video of her singing in her school's nativity play. Marie was moved by her daughter's performance and captioned the post, "She sang so beautifully, it made me tear up." She added that she wanted to share more, but was too caught up in the moment to keep recording. Even at a young age, Abby's voice and gentle spirit left a strong impression. Whether she decides to follow in her mother's musical footsteps or not, she already has her own light, and her mom couldn't be more proud. But there is one more child whose journey stands out in a very unique way. Her name is Jessica, and recently, her story has caught public attention for all the right reasons. Jessica Marie Blosil. Jessica Marie Blosil was born on December 17, 1987. She was adopted by Marie Osmond and her then-husband Brian Blosil when she was almost 2 years old. For Marie, adding Jessica to the family was a joyful moment. By then, Marie already had a son, Stephen, from her first marriage. She and Brian were ready to grow their family, and Jessica became their first child together. At that time, Marie was still in the spotlight, working in music and television. But even with her busy schedule, she always made time for her family. Marie has said many times that her kids are her top priority, and from the start, she made sure Jessica felt loved and supported. Jessica didn't grow up seeking fame like her mother. In fact, she preferred a quiet and private life. She stayed out of the spotlight and followed her own path. That path would eventually lead her to a career that had nothing to do with music or entertainment, but everything to do with helping others. Jessica chose a very different direction from her mother. While Marie became a household name in music and television, Jessica stepped into public service. She became a police officer in Provo, Utah. It's a demanding and serious job, but one that showed Jessica's strength and desire to protect others. Alongside law enforcement, Jessica also worked as a crisis counselor. In this role, she helped people fighting addiction and those going through difficult situations. Marie once said in an interview, "She works full-time. She helps people get off and do all those things. She's loving that." Her daughter's work made her proud. Marie knew that Jessica wasn't looking for praise, but was quietly making a difference in people's lives every day. Jessica's choice to serve her community says a lot about who she is. It's not an easy job, and it takes heart. But even with her serious career, there was another part of Jessica's life that brought happiness and change. Not just for her, but for the entire Osmond family. Love, support, and a wedding day to remember. In June 2019, Jessica married her longtime girlfriend, Sarah. Their wedding was a joyful moment, not just for the couple, but for the whole family. Marie flew in just for the day to be part of the celebration. She posted a photo from the wedding on Instagram with a heartfelt caption, "Congratulations to my darling daughter Jessica and her new wife Sarah. I'm so glad I got to fly in for the day to be a part of such a happy occasion. I could not love the two of you more. Welcome to our family." It was a simple and beautiful message that showed Marie's full support. Many fans praised her for standing by her daughter with love and pride. In the comments, one person wrote, "Thanks for being an amazing mama bear," while another said, "I am beyond thrilled that you accept Jessica for who she is." For Marie, love has always come first. She made it clear that family matters more than anything. Later, in an interview, she shared how happy she was for Jessica. "I'm happy that she has someone in her life with her, you know? It makes me happy." Her words were honest, simple, and full of motherly love. Jessica and Sarah didn't speak much publicly about their plans, but it's clear that Marie is excited about the future. In a previous interview, Marie said, "Out of all the awards and accolades that I have been blessed with throughout my life, nothing comes close in comparison with the blessings I receive from being a mother to my 8 children and grandma. That joy is something she carries with every new chapter in her children's lives, including weddings, careers, and quiet personal victories. Living life on her own terms." Jessica has always chosen her own path. She didn't follow her mom into Hollywood or music. She didn't chase fame. Instead, she focused on real people, real problems, and real love. Her work as a police officer and counselor shows how much she cares about making a difference, even if it's behind the scenes. And while her name may not be in the spotlight, Her story is full of strength and meaning. From being adopted into a famous family to building a peaceful, successful life with her wife Sarah, Jessica has shown that being true to yourself is the most powerful choice of all. Marie has always stood beside her daughter, whether it was helping her through childhood or flying in for the wedding day. She's never missed a moment. Her support speaks louder than any song, and it shows what unconditional love really looks like. Jessica may not be the most talked about member of the Osmond family, but she has built a life that makes her mother proud. And in the end, that's the kind of legacy that matters most. Speaking of which, raising 8 children was not easy, especially while juggling fame and personal struggles. But Marie Osmond always found a way to keep her family together. A mother's strong beliefs and her unusual decision. Marie Osmond worked hard, gave them love, and taught them values. That's why what she said in 2020 shocked many people. Marie announced that she would not be leaving her fortune to her children. Instead, she plans to donate it to charity. She believes strongly in the power of hard work. She said, "I think you do a great disservice to your children to just hand them a fortune, because you take away the one most important gift you can give your children, and that's the ability to work." She added that too many children from wealthy families lose their way because they don't learn how to build something on their own. You see it a lot in rich families, where the kids, they don't know what to do and so they get in trouble, she explained. "Let them be proud of what they make, and I'm going to give mine to my charity." These words weren't harsh. They were full of love and belief. Marie wants her kids to stand on their own. She believes they're capable, strong, and ready to make their own mark in the world. She believed her children should earn their own way and make their own success. In her eyes, that's the best gift she could give them. With every child, every loss, and every memory, Marie Osmond continues to show the world what motherhood truly looks like. Real, messy, loving, and full of heart. And that's what makes her story so powerful. Which part of Marie Osmond's journey as a mother touched you the most? And do you think her decision to raise her children with strong values, despite fame, made all the difference? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.